Hi everyone, it's me Little Bird, and I am going to tell you the rest of the stuff that had happened in my house on 119th Avenue and 81st Street in Edmonton, Alberta. So my next door neighbors, they moved out. Within a couple of weeks, they had experienced some odd things in their own home, and they felt like these ghosts that they had seen had followed them upstairs. So they moved out. And shortly after they had moved out, my brother Calvin moved in. Because my brother Calvin and his girlfriend had lost their home and they were looking for a place. So they moved in upstairs. And shortly after they moved in, Brian ended up getting a surprise visitor come to the house. Her name was Denise. And Denise hadn't seen Brian since he was in Fort St. John when I was pregnant with our daughter. Well, when I was in Edmonton having our daughter was the last time that he had seen her. And back then she was 16. No, she was 19. A few days after Denise's surprise visit, Brian and his buddies had gone to the bar. They went to the Purple Onion in the south side. And his buddy brought this girl home. And she was beautiful. She was tall, she was white, she had blonde hair, blue eyes. She's got a really nice personality. And my husband introduced me to her as her name was Amanda. And she looks at him and she says, "No, my name isn't Amanda, my name is Brooke." I was like, "Oh, nice to meet you." So after Brooke had come and my mom's husband had ghosted her. After 25 years of marriage, my mom's husband abandoned her. Left her without an explanation, or left her without any words. It was sudden and it was unexpected. And my mom was devastated. Then her sisters came, my aunties came, and they took her for a retreat to get her head off, like her mind off of what was going on. And at the same time that she had just moved in with us. So at the same time that she is gone, and I don't know how long she's gone for, Brooke's mom experienced something awful, and she was hurting as well. So I offered her a place to sleep for the night, and I offered her my mom's bed. And it just so happens that my mom ended up coming home in the middle of the night that night, and she seen this woman sleeping on her bed. She wasn't too happy that she had to sleep on the couch when she has a nice comfortable bed to sleep in. And she said that she had an uncomfortable sleep, and when she was laying on the couch, she woke up and there was a guy that was standing by the fireplace, and he seemed to be looking for something. And I told her that there was there wouldn't have been anybody at our house the night before because we were sleeping. She says, there was somebody here. I said, I don't know who that could have been. Like, were my doors open? Like, I'm trying to wonder, like, why might my friends be walking around in the middle of the night in the dark, you know, searching for something? I've seen my friends search for things and they use their phone as a flashlight. You know? So it didn't make any sense to me. And she said, I don't know. But it was really weird though. She said, I said hi to him and he just waved back. He didn't say anything to me. And then he went in from the living room and he went into the dining room. And she said, you know how your floor creaks in the dining room? In those two different spots? And I said, yeah. And she said, well, there was no creaking. And my couch that she was sleeping on was cutting off the other entrance into the living room. So she poked her head behind the couch to see if this guy had, like, what happened to him. And she never seen him go into the kitchen at all. So she gets up and she goes into the dining room and the floor creaks like normal. And it spooked her because she didn't hear that with this guy, and this guy was not in the kitchen. My basement door was locked. Her bedroom door was still shut. She peeked in. There's just that lady that was sleeping in there, and she checked the bed, the locks, the doors, the outside doors, and they were both locked. And she said she had a really crappy sleep after that. I said, that's really weird. And she says, I think you have ghosts in your house, my girl. I said, when Nita moved out, she said that she felt a presence in the house. She said, well, then she was right. Because I seen something. You know, I seen somebody that I have absolutely no explanation where he went. Shortly after my mom had moved in, my brother Daryl ended up losing his relationship, and his relationship was very rocky at that time, so he stayed with us. And his girlfriend had brought their son to come and visit him, and they were talking about getting back together. And when Brian and I had gone out with our friends, we went and spent the night out, and we didn't return till the next day. My sister-in-law, she told me that she asked me if my friends have keys to the house. And I told her that none of my friends have any keys to the house. And I asked her why she asked. She told me that in the middle of the night when she was sleeping on the floor, they had made a bed on the floor because their baby was crawling. And so they made a bed on the floor, and she looks up and there was a man standing over their bed looking down at them. And he didn't speak to them. He didn't speak to her when she was speaking to him, telling him that we had gone to the bar and we weren't going to be returning that night. And how did you get in here anyway? And he turned around and he went into the kitchen. So she got up and went to go and make sure that this guy was leaving. And my basement door was closed, and she said that door creaks when you open it, and it didn't creak when he went into the kitchen. So she said, I'm looking for this guy, and because I know what I seen. And I went to go and make sure that he locked the door when he left, and the door was already locked. That's why I was asking you, do your friends have keys? I said, none of my friends have keys. I'm the only one that has a set of keys. Well, besides Mom. And no, nobody has any keys. She says, well, I think I seen a ghost then. So I told her about the previous times that Michelle had seen a ghost and that My mom had just seen a ghost a couple of days before, and my sister-in-law said that there was a presence in the house. That was the last time that my sister ever came to the home. And shortly after that, she left and went back to Sturgeon Lake. And my brother never had a relationship with his son. I went over to my girlfriend Brooks, because Brooke and I became friends. So I went over to my girlfriend's, and I came home late one night. My brother Calvin and his girlfriend were in Calgary. And when I came home, his lights were on and our lights were off. So I went to go and see how their trip to Calgary was. But Calvin didn't answer the door. It was Daryl. And nobody was in my house because they were all upstairs. My mom had gone to put the grandbabies to sleep, and when she was reading the Bible, the grandbabies both sat up. She said it was shocking to see that both of these kids sat up at the same time. And they were looking at the other side of her, on the other side of her, and she said that they had a scared look on their face. And they told her that a man was in her room. And my mom, she said, I got scared because I can't see anybody. But, you know, little kids, they can see things that we can't see. And she said, and they are both looking in the same place. And I'm looking at them, looking where they're looking, and I can't see anything. And then their heads start turning, and they're watching this guy. And they said that he had went into the closet. I said, wow. When Brooke's mom was sleeping in your room, she had told Brooke that she thought that she had seen a guy in the room. That's why she wanted to leave as soon as she woke up the next day, because she got scared. And I told Brooke that it was just you opening the door when you had come home. And she said that she seen this guy go into the closet. And I said, and when Leilani was in that room, Leilani also said that there was somebody in that room. And she got freaked out, and I was telling her that she was making up things and she shouldn't be watching scary shows. I remember my daughter would scream when she was in that room. And I locked her in that room. You know how kids, when you go to put them to sleep and they're fighting sleep? Well, I thought that that's what it was. And I thought that she had been making things up. Now there's 2 adults and 2 children, the same child, saying the exact same thing. But Leilani never said anything about the closet. She just said that there was a man in her room. And this man in the room had been seen now by 4 people. God allows us to see these things so that we know that they exist. And Hollywood likes to, because it's from Hollywood, it's like, it's fictional. It doesn't exist. Well, you know, all the things that I've experienced in my life, all these paranormal things, they happened. And I wasn't the only person that experienced them. So it didn't make any sense to me how these things didn't exist, how it was a figment of my imagination. We can't all have the same imagination. We can't all have the same vision.